that is right on point, that is always ready, early, ready, willing, and able. I love our community. Look at the comments. They're already popping. So tonight, I told the family, Dr. Nanetta, I told the family, get your wine, your weed, your kombucha, whatever it is that you do, because we're gonna go tonight. It's Friday night. So we are here with the amazing author of The Love Project, Dr. Nanetta Payne. Dr. Nanetta, introduce yourself. Welcome.
And I am humbled to be here tonight with your peeps. And it is always an absolute delight and absolute pleasure to be in the presence of, I know her as Reverend Valerie, and KAISI and all of the many, many names, divine midwife, and all of that. She is my sister, and she has been an awesome support in my life. And we'll get to talk all about that over the next few minutes, hours, just depends on how this thing flows.
Well, let's see how we roll with it. Oh my goodness. See how we roll with it. So how did we meet?
Oh wow. The real story. You know, and this is beautiful because okay. I don't know if you remember this part, but I was on my way coming back from Maryland. And at that time, I was doing my ministerial training at Intervisions. I had never seen this sister. I pulled up, I was, waiting in the airport. There were some delays. And finally, they said that my flight was going to be canceled that night. And so it was like, okay, it looks like I'm going to be at the airport tonight. So I started to go to YouTube. I'm not going to fuss about it. I'm trying to surrender. So I know, and I was going through these YouTube videos to be inspired and get my mind off of the weight, and I kept seeing this sister, and I'm like, okay, I like her vibe, I like her spirit, but also I really really appreciated her message, and so I kept looking at more and more and more, and so I didn't think anything about it. So fast forward, I caught my flight. Several weeks later, I came back to Maryland, and I was talking to one of my other spiritual sisters, and she stated, we were just talking about something, and then I said, you know what? There's this beautiful sister, and they said that she was from Maryland. And I was like, I'm thinking about doing some book coaching, and sounds like she would be a good fit to support me. And lo and behold, my sister said, what's her name? And then I said, I think her name is something with love, right? Like, Reverend Valerie? And she was like, I know her. And then it was love at first sight, although we did not meet in person for many, many months, probably almost a year, Reverend Valerie. Mm-hmm. So I love the way spirit works. I don't have to try to figure it out, right? Ask, allow, and he becomes. So that is the short version of how we connected.
Oh my goodness. That wasn't Catherine, was it?
That was Catherine. That was Reverend Catherine.
That was Catherine Harold. I mean, because she was a client of mine a long time ago. And Catherine, she tells this story all the time. So I can share this story. When I published my first book, look how God works. When I published my first book, I was going around the book clubs because there was no YouTube and all this online promotion. There was none of that. So authors used to go to book clubs. So they invited me to the book club. And I go into the book club, about 25 women in the house, beautiful group of women in the house for the book club. And I'm going to do book signings, read, and Catherine, and this book club was in Maryland, and Catherine was living in New Jersey at the time. We're sitting in the book club. I'm doing my thing. This was probably 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. Catherine was sitting there, not thinking about ministry, not thinking about any of that. She said, I like you at the end. I like you. I think I want to do some coaching with you because I do coaching. You know how Catherine is. Oh my goodness. She said, I want to do some coaching with you. I said, okay. So we start out coaching. Dr. Nanetta, Reverend Dr. Nanetta now, something like the second or third session, out came my mouth this is exactly what came out my mouth. You're a minister. And I don't know if she busts out laughing in that moment. She said, later on, she told me, this woman is a quack. This woman don't know what she's talking about. I paid her for this. Oh my goodness. It was so funny. I'm like, you're a minister. Have you ever thought about that? Now, Catherine was living her life like it was golden, okay? She was sure, yes. Okay, Catherine was big. Yeah. No apology, no holds barred. And anyone who knows Catherine knows how Catherine rolls in her life.
Yes.
Right? And this is a powerful woman, right? And all I saw was minister. I said, you're a minister. And she was like, look, okay. I think she almost wanted to ask for a coaching feedback. But it's non-refundable, so oh well. Right? So I said to her, have you ever, and she's told this story publicly, so yes. I'm not revealing anything that is client confidentiality. I just want to make that clear, okay, to everyone watching. She said, because we laugh about this, we talk about this story a lot. And we've talked about it on Boost Morning Inspiration. We've talked about it on the radio show. We've talked about this a lot publicly. So she said, I said, have you ever thought about, going and answering that call of ministry? And she said, no. And I said, is there any spiritual place or spiritual house that you've been called to or anything like that? Just coaching and wanting to see what's there. And every minister, God has already called you and already told you what's going on. Now, whether we wanted to answer, that's another story. Whether we were in a place to hear clearly, that's another story. Not saying any of that was the case with her. So I said, have you ever thought what about unity? And she said, unity? I said, yes. Have you ever heard of unity? No. What about if you look it up? What do you think? I'm just trying to get something out of her. That was nothing, okay?
No, with a period. Okay.
Oh, yes. So she's finally said, okay, I'm going to check out unity. Reverend Dr. Nanetta, look at God. Because I'm like, whoo, if this is how it's going to be trying to get this Jeremiah to God, it's going to take. Every minister has said no to God. Like, no. Moses, Jeremiah, all of them. They all say no at first. Like, what? No, I'm not doing that. Right? Or I can't do it because I'm so unworthy. I can't talk. I'm too young. No, God, you don't want me. David, everybody said, you don't want me, God. Right? Well, she goes to the Unity Church. Did she ever tell you that story when she first went to the Unity Church?
I can't remember which one. Keep going. Let me see. Let me hear.
Okay, so she goes to Unity. Oh my goodness. She goes to the, and I have to call Catherine onto the show and interview her too about all this, because we will be laughing and drinking wine and oh my goodness, falling out. Because me and Catherine have been through a lot over a decade, right? Mm-hmm. Well, she goes to the Unity Church. Dr. Nanetta, it was the day they were having the foot washing.
She did tell that, yes.
When she's telling me the story in her next coaching session, I'm sitting there like, thank you, God. Yes. Thank you, God. I thought I was going to have to drag this one kicking and screaming to the altar, but thank you, God. She went to the foot washing and everyone got paired with someone, and she gets paired with the pastor.
Yes.
Of the whole church. How do you get paired with the pastor of the church unless you're supposed to pastor a church? And the rest is, as they say, history. Or her story, right? Because eventually it led her to Reverend Dr. Yana Van Sant, our spiritual mother and teacher, giving her honor and thanks. And she became ordained as a minister of spiritual consciousness. And I have the God bumps because I was there to see both of you take that leap, and how incredible. How do you feel?
Mm-hmm. um, mm, hmm, mm. The most challenging, the most beautiful, and you know this, the most the sweetest experience
Mm,
that I know is to be called and to answer.
mm,
And, you know, Reverend Valerie, I was thinking over the recent months about what's going on in the world.
yeah.
And I smiled uh, with this immense feeling of gratitude
Mm,
to know that I've been prepared for a time like this. Um, my yes, and it
mm,
is a continuous yes um, of how we have been taught to stand um, in all seasons. And when I think about the various phases of opening myself up to share what God gave me to share in the book,
mm,
prepared for a time like this. So, as we were talking before we jumped on in the green room of how I'm able to stand with and for my clients, um,
mhm.
I know what it feels like, right? Um, to be in the midst of the wilderness.
Ooh, wilderness.
To have a wilderness experience. Um, so, um, the preparation, um, I am humbled to continue
Mm,
to say yes to my Father. I am humbled to continue to be of service. My sacred name is Ayobami. I am blessed with joy. And so
ooh,
I know, right? And
ooh.
you
And
asked
I
me
tell you, where Mama goes to get those names, we don't know. But I tell you one thing: when she comes back with that name, whoo,
I don't know, right? And so and I know the same way that I happened to meet Reverend Valerie Love, you know, I don't know, and I know. Uh, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I know. So I
yes,
count it all joy. You asked me how I'm feeling and how I'm living. I am joy filled, and I continue to illuminate out in my world, in my city, and so I am grateful. I am grateful, my sister. So thank you, Reverend Valerie.
oh, my pleasure, Reverend Dr. Nanetta Payne. Wow, what a journey! Oh, what a journey it's been. I remember one of my coaching sessions, one of our coaching sessions, you talked about pain. Do you want to talk about your name and I
Oh
think that
yeah.
is that also in the book and
Yeah,
pain and the
yeah.
connection?
Oh, you know what? And it's interesting, right? So, guys, of course, that's my last name, and and wow, to to now be in a place to, I love the way you know God uses everything, everything,
Everything.
everything,
Every scrap of something little that I forgot from 20 years ago. What? I'm using that now? Oh,
everything,
yes.
everything.
Nothing's wasted in the universe. Nothing.
Nothing's wasted. You know, I often hear people, you know, talk about the glamorous part of coaching and the book coaching and all of that. And so, you know, one of the things is that I appreciate about a coach, and particularly um, divine midwife Reverend Valerie Love, is. Sometimes it gets messy behind the scenes, okay? And it can outright be painful, right? Um,
Mhm.
but that's the birthing process. It is all required. And
Mhm.
when I say painful, um, because God gave me the message many, many years ago, but it's the barriers to get past all of the stuff to be able to get there. And so it takes time, and the baby has to be nurtured. And that's one of the things that I love about you, Reverend Valerie. Anybody that knows Reverend
Mhm.
Valerie a little bit knows that, she can be like, okay. And at the same time, she knows how to balance it in a way, right? Because the baby is going to have to come out, okay? Clear. She's going to have to come out. And at the same time,
Has to come out.
there's a level of nurturing, there's a level of love
Mhm.
in that, incubator process that I think you do a beautiful job with your technology on being able to usher people through that process. Because, for me, it wasn't just about writing a book, right? You can write anything, but it was about, just as a woman goes to, pick a particular healthcare provider, pick a particular obstetrician, that there has to be for me, it had to be that compatibility. And faith is really important for me because, I am on a, spiritual, consciously on a spiritual path. And also, again, someone who possess that beautiful balance between, okay, pushing me beyond my comfort zone, and at the same time in an environment where I always felt loved and nurtured.
Mhm. That is beautiful. Oh my God. I just give that all to God
Mm.
because in every coaching session, I never know what's going to happen. That is all God, right? So I'm sitting there just listening. Like, where do I go? And a lot of the time, I would say half the time, more than half the time, even with the 15 years experience, this month makes 15 years of coaching and me
Beautiful.
having given myself to this work. So
Mm.
in 2004, I sold my financial planning practice with American Express. And in 2005, I sat my butt down to write that book, those books that were knocking at the door of my soul. Let me out, let me out. And April was the first public workshop where I stood in front of people and presented myself to the world and said, "This is what I do, and I'm all yours, God." And the name of the workshop was "What is God saying about your money?" That was the workshop. And 2005, 15 years ago, some of the church people were calling me a heretic, even back then, because God and money, they couldn't fathom that. Now it's pretty okay. We understand that energy, God is energy, and energy is money, energy is everything. So 15 years, I don't, I don't, I don't go to the 15 years of coaching experience to coach clients in the right here and the right now. Because if I go to that, I might go to a memory. And a memory is nothing. Like A Course in Miracles says, memory is nothing because memory is the past, and the past is not here now. So that means when we're thinking about something in the past, we're thinking about nothing in actuality. So in the moment, that's the magic and the beauty of the coaching process, that right in the moment, the coaching we're talking about spiritual coaching underpinning whatever you're doing, right? The underlying of it is spiritual life coaching with book coaching, with uh, success coaching, business strategy. The underpinning of it is spiritual foundation. In the moment, I never fail to get what needs to be done. Never. Never. How does it work with your coaching?
Yes. I mean, I
Well,
absolutely,
I'm not the only one. Everybody who's connected has this. So how do you
absolutely,
work with it?
absolutely. By training, I'm also a clinical psychologist, and one of the things, and where I really came out in my experience of coaching you in regards to standing in that spiritual aspect of, yes, I am a spiritually conscious clinical psychologist, right? And to be
Yeah,
out
I
with
love
that, and to be
it.
open with that, which means is all of this stuff, they're tools, right? They're just tools. And so there has to be a point, at least for me, where I am willing to, okay, yes, I study and show myself approved. And there's a part where I'm willing to surrender it, right? That I'm not
Mm,
attached to
surrender.
some book learning, right? That I know that, again, I am constantly being inspired and guided, just like the person before me.
Mhm.
So I open myself up, and we have practices and tools to support that process. But that was, I'm not sure what you're offering now, Reverend Valerie, but I know in our process, I spent a lot of individual one-on-one with you, and I would encourage anyone who has not done that to really invest in themselves in that way, because that was really um, paramount for me and my growth. Because get it now, guys. I want everybody to get this, right? Before I met Reverend Valerie, that I was already a licensed clinical psychologist. I'm licensed in several states, okay? Already, right? Um,
Mhm.
already, at that time, I think I was going into year 2 of ministry or about to complete year 1. And for me, I am I take it very seriously on how I take care of myself, how I continue to invest in myself from the inside out, because I am a
Mm.
steward, I am God's servant, and I take it very seriously when I go before the people, the sheep who God sends me, to be fully prepared. And so it's important for me to make sure that I have the best, right? So I needed to make sure that I had the perfect person for me to support this process. There are tons and tons, and everybody gets to decide. There are tons of people who are out here doing coaching now, and I'm sure they're doing an awesome job. But for me, it was someone who I felt that could take me to that next level, because again, I feel like I'm not no lightweight. Okay, so I need to make sure that I have someone
You are
who is
true. You are right about that. You are right about
okay.
that.
I
Mhm.
needed someone who was aligned and who had also had the same listening, spiritual listening, and that I did, so that I could really relax and open myself up fully to that process. So I wasn't looking for an academic process necessary on how to write. I was looking for someone to support me in really going in there and going to get it, so that I could really move forward with this and birth this book baby.
Oh my goodness, that is incredible. And Dr. Nanetta, it speaks to Reverend Dr. Nanetta. It speaks to probably every client I have ever had the privilege of coaching. You all are spectacular people. You came to me spectacular.
Mhm.
You know, I look at you, Reverend Catherine, Dr. Jatea Wiley, Dr. Denise Bacchus, Dr. Patricia Dara, Sharon Fant, Dr. G. Lee, a lot of the guests that were here with us this week, and some that you haven't seen yet, family. Y'all were already spectacular when y'all came to me. And it's very interesting that I think it seems like I attract doctors and attorneys, because right now I'm coaching. It seems like doctors and attorneys keep showing up. And I have a lot of attorneys in my world, and I have a lot of doctors in my world. And I love that, because rather than using it as ego food, I look at my clients and I'm humbled and awed that these very learned, multiple degreed individuals. We were in Dubai, and I asked each of the attendees in Dubai how many degrees they had. One had 5, one had 3, one had 4, I think. So between the three of them, there were 12 degrees altogether. I think one had 5, one had 3, and the other had 4, something like that. 12 degrees.
Mhm.
And I know that that's a function of where I came from, because I came from a very, heavy, logical, corporate, right brain, type A, high achiever place. So I get that. And I don't think that we're ever supposed to let all that go. I think we're supposed to integrate it
Mhm.
and to integration and still keep your smarts and your logic and your wonderful life experiences that molded and shaped you into who you are right now. That was the seasoning that went into the stew. And I'm very thankful. That's all I can say when I see who shows up. I'm awed and I'm humbled and I'm thankful
We're, we
that
we are
spectacular
grateful
beings.
to have you to be able to. I think you do a beautiful job, Reverend Valerie, of creating the space. Because one of the things, and I'll speak for myself, I'll own this for myself, is that the personality sometimes with the intellect is that um, we can get to a point where we disconnect from our heart, and we know that we need them both. And so I think that you have, for me, created a beautiful space to be a quote in a space of being a professional. And sometimes um, um, at least I, um, and even in society, we are reinforced more for the intellect, for that divine masculine. And
Mhm.
that's we have an opportunity, and I think this is a beautiful opportunity that's presented before us now to really open ourselves up to really nurture that aspect of ourselves, our heart space. But for me, you really created that space where I could be vulnerable because going back to my last name Payne, there's power in the pain of that means that there's a process in my coaching where I had to open up and I had to feel, right? And for an intellectual like myself, who I yes, I can be that way. Yes, I own that too. Um,
Me too, I own
yeah,
it.
I
On
own it.
the inside, head up is safe. I can figure it out. You're right, but
Yeah,
that's not all. That's
yeah.
not it.
So to create more harmony and more balance. And that was really, really important for me. Again, my book is the Love Project, So it's really about, I wasn't writing about anything that I wasn't, it was my process, right? That's what God had given me. And again, even in ministry, my principle is divine love. And so, again,
Oh, look at
I had been
that.
given
Oh my goodness.
everything, right? It's like, okay, here you go. Okay, all right, here you go, Ayobami. Here you go. So beautiful. So I think
That is
it's
perfect.
perfect, right? Perfect. So
Perfect.
yes.
So tell us about your book, baby.
Oh, the Love Project. Yes. So the Love Project, in essence, it's our spiritual curriculum. It is it is this beautiful, mystical, magical, adventurous journey that we're on. And I think sometimes we forget why we're really here. And again, we've come here to uncover our barriers of love, first to discover what they are, to uncover them, heal them, so that we can fully express. That's it. So we reveal so that we can heal, so God can move through us, or spirit, or whatever you call, I say God, so that we can move through life more freely in the flow versus again blocking and defending and all of this wonderful stuff that we make up, that we have to protect ourselves from something. We're free, we're loved, we're lovable, we're loving. And so that's really what this process was really about for me. It's a book, yes, and I love it, and I love to share it. But the biggest thing is for me to embody this each and every day of my life, to embody that, I get to celebrate my lessons. I don't have to be ashamed of my journey anymore. Yeah, I went through some things. That's part of life, right? Yes, I've experienced some painful moments in my life. And that's how I'm able to stand for my people now, right? I know what it looks like. And I tell them this. I know what it looks like. And then sometimes I tell them, you
Uh-huh.
think I'm hard? Okay, you ought to see where I come from. Okay, my
Hello.
so the Love Project is really about truly mastering our curriculums through the power of love. That when I truly remember that I am loved, that I don't see my
Mm,
learnings as punishment. I don't see that I've
mm.
done something wrong. No, this is an opportunity um, um, for a spirit to express more deeply. There's something here for me to learn. So I get to be like a little girl and I can sit and say, okay, so what is this? Let me just relax. I know I'm safe. I know I'm protected. I know I'm provided for, right? So that I can move more gracefully through life. That is in essence what the Love Project is all about. And one of the things that I do, Reverend Valerie, with all of my clients is we really work that process. And actually, I was about to now we'll just postpone it, have a retreat, a Love Project retreat. So we will reschedule that. So I'm
Oh my
excited about it. My business is love,
God.
and look at there.
Mm.
I didn't even know. I wasn't even fully aware of the title. And my coach, her last name was what? Reverend Love. Come on now.
It's all over. It was written in the stars. You had to do this. You had to.
I
Written in
had
the stars.
I had to do
Had
it.
to do it.
Yes.
So, what does it mean to master your life through the power of love? What does that mean? Like, on a practical level, like if a person is in the supermarket, if they're in a relationship, because people struggle sometimes, with practical application of heavenly principles. What does it mean?
Yeah. Mastery is, of course, it's a lifelong commitment. I hear people often talk about self-care. Well, I tend to work more with self-care from the inside. So mastery
Mm,
is it's a moment by moment choice, right? To become more aware of who we really are. Because I think most of the time we think we know, right? These personalities that we've created, right? And then we take the
mhm.
mask off as soon as we come in the house, or sometimes when we're
Oh my
thrown in the
goodness.
house, okay? But
As soon as we take off the bra, we take off the mask. Yeah. The bra is the first thing to go, then go to mask. Because the bra is part of the mask sometimes, right? I think that's been my experience. Sometimes.
No,
Uh-huh.
I know. So mastery is really about, one of the first and we work a lot with principles. So one of the first principle is the principle of awareness because we know that we cannot change anything if we're not aware of what's happening. And awareness is really self-awareness, of
Mm,
I get to become more fully aware of some of the choices that I've been making, right? Because that's the only way that I can make a different choice. I got to be aware of how I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And that starts with, the choice of what am I thinking about most of the time? Because we know every thought it creates, it's energetic, it's
mm,
form, right? Versus, shifting the attention from the people, right? To the people, which is our thoughts. And so many of my clients, that's exactly where we start with. So let's see what's happening in your world. Let's become more aware, right? And we can be in the early part of my career. I was a researcher, so I say we get to be these little scientists, right? But we're not researching
mm.
anybody but ourselves. And sometimes in the beginning, that's uncomfortable. Yes, yes. So
Very.
yes. So that's the beginning part of mastering because it's mastery is and I want to be clear about this. Mastery is not about some getting it right? Mastery is
Mm.
about, in my definition, is win, lose, or draw. At the end of the day, can you still say, you know what? I love me some meat. Okay, then.
Come on, Dr. Nanetta. Please, Reverend.
You
Please,
know.
Pastor. Come on. I like to say that too. I be like looking at myself in the mirror like, girl, you is bomb.com. You did that. Got to.
Yes, because we make up these things about this whole notion of perfection. Well, I am perfectly Nanetta in that moment. Yes, there's
Mm.
always the ascension process. So yes, there's this journey and I'm constantly ascending in consciousness. And in order to ascend, there are lessons that I got to learn along the way. So it's mastery is appreciating every step of my journey. There's no such thing as good or bad. It just is. Now, how do I get to be with this, right? Let me be aware of what's showing up, right? Okay. All right. Because if it's showing up, then if I spot it somewhere, I got it. Okay. So let me take
If I
full.
spot it, I got it.
I spotted, I got it.
Mm.
So we work with the principle of ownership, right? Of owning our lives in a way, that we haven't before. Yes, we all have
Mm.
childhood histories. We all have childhood histories. We all have childhood wounds. I don't know anybody who's going to get out of here alive without some wound. That's just how it is,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah. And again,
Being born creates childhood wounds. Being born on planet Earth.
yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
And it's how, it's from the work, right? The cleaning out, the healing those parts and pieces, where again, the miracle is changing the way I see it. I get to shift my perception of how I see it and how I view these experiences. So I love it. This is what I know that I was born to do, Reverend Valerie. I know, like people try to find their purpose. Well, I get that, right? Um,
Yes.
I was born to inspire people um,
Mhm.
to open themselves up to a deeper experience of self-love, self-love,
Mm.
self-love. I receive love to the degree that I'm able to give it to myself. That's just it.
Mm.
That's just it. We wonder why, you know, we don't experience what we desire in our relationship. Well, to master your life through the power of love, well, let's start with you being that to yourself. That's the work, and I love it. And I always begin with myself because I yes, yes,
That's the answer. Everything I see begins and ends with me. Okay, what am I seeing? What am I making up about what I'm seeing?
yes.
What am I holding about what I'm seeing? What am I feeling about what I'm seeing? It all begins and ends with me. And
Yeah.
that I can change it at any second, just
Mhm,
like that.
mhm,
Just
mhm.
like that. So, Dr. Nanetta, we are in, you mentioned the word wilderness. Was that in the green room or was that in this conversation?
I think I think it was here. Well, yes, it was here.
Okay. When you said wilderness, it struck a chord that we're all in the wilderness right now. What is the wilderness experience? What is that?
Um, Now my principal, my disciple was David, right? So the wilderness,
Okay.
I was familiar with the you it the experience of I just don't know what this is, right? I don't know
Mhm.
where I am. There is fear. How am I going to get out of this? Something's after me.
Mm,
I can't see.
mm.
I can't see with my human eyes. Hmm. I don't understand. Hmm. Hmm. There's chaos in the wilderness.
That's what it looks like.
Hmm. Hmm. Mhm, mhm. Through the human eyes. Mhm,
Mm,
mhm, mhm. You know, I think about um, that word. it's come up for me many, many times throughout my ministerial training. A wilderness experience can be any experience when one feels lost, petrified. Mhm. Very humbling experience. The principle of humility.
Isn't it?
When all you can
Ooh,
do
my name
is
is Shona Ife. It means
okay,
humility and love. That's my name,
okay,
Shona Ife. Humility and love.
yes,
So continue.
yes, yes. And I find that my way out was in my surrender.
Ah,
I
mm.
don't know what anything is for.
I don't know what anything is for. You know, that thought came to me when you were
I
speaking earlier. Oh my goodness. Of Course of Miracles. I don't know what anything is for.
don't know what anything. I don't know. Just perceive my
I
best.
don't know what Corona is for.
I
I
don't
do not.
I do not I don't know what anything. I trust.
Oh, yeah.
I trust.
Oh, I absolutely trust.
I trust.
Oh,
I don't know what
absolutely.
anything is for. So when I
Hmm.
said at the beginning of this, I have been prepared for a time like this. Well, it was my own wilderness experience.
Woo.
But there was
Woo.
I can't go to the right. I can't even go back.
Woo. Hit
I
them
can't
on
even
all
turn around. I try to
sides.
turn
Ah,
around.
you can't go back. You just got to keep
I
going
just can't go
forward
back.
because you can't go back.
I can't go
You go
back.
back.
So
My
okay,
God.
okay. In my
And
surrender,
there's no food and water in the wilderness.
nothing. Okay, no, yes,
So fasting is part of it.
yes, yes, yes,
There's no other people around you in the wilderness. This is a solitary journey
yes. Mm-hmm,
with self.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
Did you all read Hind's Feet on High Places?
Come on now, yes, yes, ha, 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 yes. Oh,
We're not going to go there, are we? We're not going to go there.
oh, yes,
Hind's Feet on High Places, because God is just talking to me. Hind's Feet on High Places.
yes.
What about when Much Afraid was walking? That part where she was walking and walking and walking and walking. It was dark. It would nothing would lift. The fog wouldn't lift. Nothing would give no light. And she walking and walking and walking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know, Much Afraid. Oh my God, that was my life.
That
That
was
was
my. I still draw upon that, Reverend Valerie. Oh, much afraid. Ah, and her companions.
oh my God. Sorrow and suffering. The shepherd
Oh,
said, I'm gonna give you some people to bring you up the mountain. She said, really?
no.
Shepherd? She's much afraid. She was just having what an experience. Because first, when he said, I'm gonna give you something, I have to plant the seed of love deep in your heart. And she said, oh, okay, shepherd, I'm ready. He held his hand out, it was a thorn. She was like, oh my God, what kind of seed is that? He
Oh,
said, much afraid, I have to plant this seed of love in your heart. And that thorn going in her heart and the pain, talk about pain. You know,
I,
that much afraid story, I still carry it with me to this day because pride almost got her, even after she was out of the valley of desolation. Pride still almost got her. And when the shepherd said, yes, you could come to the kingdom of love, the kingdom of love,
yes.
right? What does it take to get to the kingdom of love?
Come
And he
on.
said, I'm going to give you, come on, what does it take to get to the kingdom of love? I never saw nobody fall up a mountain. I've never seen it. It doesn't happen that way, right? There's a climb involved. There's volition involved. There is intention involved, focus, energy, determination, perseverance. Oh, I got the God bumps. All those things our parents taught us. Stick to itiveness, as they taught us, faith, and push through, baby. Keep going. That's all required. They're not even optional. Your determination is required, it's not optional. So when she said she was going to go to the kingdom of love, yay, I don't know what she thought it was going to be. The shepherd was just going to take
sounds so sweet and nice and just, just take me there. Just take me there.
shepherd to the kingdom of love. Oh my goodness. He said, meet me tonight. And he gave her two companions. And she saw the companion's sorrow and suffering. She was like, oh, come on, we're going to take you out of here. Sorrow and suffering. What? How are they going to get me to the kingdom of love? Yes, all your sorrow and all your suffering is going to get you to the kingdom of love. Oh my goodness. If you have never read Family, LoveTubers, everyone under the sound of our voices, if you have, of our collective voice, our voice as in one, if you have never read Hind's Feet on High Places, run, don't walk to Amazon. I will let you pause this video right now and run to Amazon and put it on your Kindle. Do whatever you have to do. Hind's Feet on High Places, Hannah Hurnard. Continue, Dr. Nanetta Payne. So how do we get to the kingdom of love?
Yeah,
that's where we all want to be.
Because Reverend Valerie, when I put my head in a little basket and I got divine love, I was like, oh, that's my principle. I love it. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
What was required?
Mm.
You see, we ain't not just playing. I tell people we're not here to just collect and acquire and put some nice degrees on the wall. A love project. Your life. Your journey. To whom much is given, much is required. So when I say that I was prepared for a time like this, because I'm human too, before this happened, I had some plans. I was,
plans.
I'm like much afraid. I'm going up the mountain. I'm up the mountain. I feel like I see a high place, and here we go. Here we go.
God said, sit down, my children. We're having a meditation. How did God put everybody in meditation time out all at the same time?
Yes. Yes.
We have never had anything like this as a collective. Never. In the history of humanity.
And what a powerful opportunity. And that is what I am sharing with my people. As we're taught, go underneath it. Don't be fooled by what you see with your human eyes. There is a blessed gift in this, right? So humble yourself. Sit. Be still. And know, I am. So I'm Friday night. I'm sitting and I'm still. And I am taking the posture and I'm listening. And I'm listening. And I'm listening. And I get it. There's a lot of fear. A lot. That was already present. So
being revealed. Coming up to the surface. Revealed to be healed.
Yes. So let's all just get naked. Because we're all in the same boat. All of the various shades. This is not just an American thing. This is a world thing. All of God's children. All of God's children.
All of us are in this together.
How beautiful.
Together.
How beautiful.
So beautiful.
How beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
The love. Oh, we're gonna get up this mountain one way or another.
Oh, we are. We're going to ascend.
We're going.
Oh yeah.
And
we're going
to go without that. I'm kicking and screaming. I tried that real bad.
The kicking and screaming method. No, God. Wait a minute, God. Wait a minute. Let me get my stuff together first, God. Whatever. Girl, Valerie, sit down somewhere and stop it. You hurt yourself. You are hurting yourself right now.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Might as well go willingly. You have me, God. You have all of me. You have me.
Mhm.
All of me.
Mhm.
And that's the end of my story. Put a period. I ain't got nothing else but God. Got nothing else.
Nothing else.
What would you say to the ones who are in some kind of experience over this beautiful global meditation we're all having?
Hmm. You know, um, the first thing is really, really um, open yourself up to a deeper level of presence. Of being, just be in the moment, right? Because that's where most of our fear comes from, right? Because we've made up this story that we already planned our lives. That we already, and we've been figuring it. That's what we said. I said this story at one point. Okay, this is what I do next, right? This is next, and then this is next, and then they're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna move here, and I'm gonna do this. So peace is really only found in the moment. That's anything else
Mm,
is just a it's a story because it doesn't
mm,
exist anyway. The past is over, it never will be again, right? The future hasn't come. Clearly, nobody expected this, so we can't plan that. Yes. So, if you really want peace, right? Be at peace right here right now, you know?
mm,
Mama says this beautiful meditation, about in this moment, there is
mm.
absolutely nothing that I need that I do not have.
Nothing.
And I,
Nothing.
and I think, Reverend Valerie, if we're honest with ourselves, you know, most of us can say that in this moment, in this moment, is there anything that I need that I do not have, right?
Nothing.
There, there's joy here if you want to experience, there's peace, right?
Mm,
Remember, we're being, I tell my clients this is an opportunity to see and be different. So it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. You got to continue to stay in that space of openness. And in order to do that, my offering is just commit to that moment by moment by moment. Reverend Valerie, I live in the South, right? And so it's so much nature here. And I got this huge backyard. And yeah, Alex is my baby, my four-legged baby. He's out there all
yes, your
the
fur
time.
baby.
And
Yay, fur
you know,
baby.
yeah, he's out there all of the time. And there are sometimes I appreciate it, but never the way I've been appreciating over these last couple of weeks. I've been sitting out early in the morning, and I saw these three birds out there taking a bath, and they were taking turns,
Oh,
and they were really like splashing. And I was like, oh my God, I've been living here all of
well, how
these
sweet.
years, right? The beauty and the sacredness of what's right before me. It's mine for the taking. But
It's for you.
it's for me. But if as long as I stay present, right? So
Uh-huh.
that's my number one offering is, you know, to be present, slow down. And not just Reverend Valerie being in the house, because I've been hearing some people, I'm in the house, I'm in the house, I'm in the house. The name of my ministry is the House of Love. I'm not talking about a physical building.
Mm,
Be in your house.
mm, mm,
Practice being in your house. Start with your physical body. Just be
mm,
and relax in that, right?
mm.
Don't try to do it for 30 minutes if you've never done it. Just say, how about 3 minutes? How about 3 minutes?
Do it 1 minute at a time if
Do
you've never
one
done
minute
it.
at a time. You know, in
Woo.
your house, in your mental, your
Mm.
emotional, your spiritual, and your physical body. Be there, right? So we'll miss it if we just talk about being in a building, a human structure. We'll miss it. So for me, Reverend Valerie, I am excited. I am like you, right? Um, this house
Mm.
belongs to you anyway, God. It always has. So now I give you
Mm.
full permission to do what you will. I'm listening. I'm available.
Mm.
I'm willing. I'm ready. And I'm so very grateful.
Mm. Oh my goodness. Doesn't the universe know how to get our full rapt attention like that?
Mhm.
I'm stunned at how it got our full rapt attention like that.
Mm.
It was almost like in heaven they said, okay, they need to sit down and be quiet. They need to be still.
Yeah.
They're doing too much.
Yeah.
And we weren't showing any signs of slowing down. We just kept speeding up, more technology and more social media platforms and more this and more that and more. How long were we going to go and keep doing that? And more busyness.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
We're being checked, right? We're being checked,
Mhm.
lovingly checked,
Lovingly checked. All right. You thought you were in
lovingly
charge,
checked.
right? You thought you were in charge, right? Yeah.
And how powerless we see that everyone is, doctors, political, all the people supposedly that we look to, that supposedly humanity looks to save us. They got no answers because the answer is within.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're looking there, you're going to find the answer.
Yes.
And all I've been hearing is be still and know.
Mm-hmm.
Be still and know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Today I had so many tears. I've been having a very interesting experience with this whole. One part has been elation because I'm traveling. So I've been staying in the most luxurious, lovely places. I'm in
I
this
love you,
gorgeous
Reverend
2 bedroom.
Valerie.
I told my family today, you probably could stay at the Ritz Carlton for $25 a night or something
Okay.
like that. You can still be sequestered. You can still be in quarantine in a hotel room. If you don't like your house no more, take the whole family $10 a night and you can probably go to a beautiful place.
I love it.
If you can walk there, because you probably won't be able to get no planes or nothing
Right.
else there, right?
I
So,
love it.
I've been having an elation, a period of elation because I have this beautiful place, $35 a night, 2 bedroom, two full bath,
Love it.
gorgeous loft, everything brand new, fully stocked, fully appointed, magnificent. I've been writing and creating, this coaching
Okay.
program and being with our peeps. $35 a night. I've been walking through the French Quarter, have the place all to myself. Bourbon Street is squeaky clean.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, it's squeaky clean. And you know what's interesting? And even some of my clients said that. I don't know if you've been hearing this too. We prayed for this.
Mm-hmm.
So my prayer was, wow, I really would love some beautiful places to stay for really good prices. Okay. Wow, I really would love Bourbon Street. Every time I'm on Bourbon Street, people are knocking and bumping you and they're drunk and they're puking, and that's part of Bourbon Street. Wow, I wonder what it would be like if it wasn't like this. Okay, like the universe is hearing all our secret little prayers. Like, I wonder what it would be like if it was,
Yes.
the park. What's the name of that park downtown in the French Quarter?
I
That beautiful
talked about
park
it. I
where
can't
there's
remember the
some
name, but I know. Yeah. Hmm.
Lafayette Park or something like that.
Yes.
I went in that park. That park clean as a whistle. No one in there. I had the whole park to myself. So all these wonderful benefits that are coming of something that seems like not a benefit, you get to choose what you're looking at.
Choose right. Yeah.
Either you get to choose, oh, this is horrible, or this, and you'll be right. You'll be right.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching it. That's one experience that I've been having. Another experience I've been having is absolute hilarity at the at the videos and the memes. Someone put me in a Corona apocalypse meme group. Those memes are so funny between people walking down the street with a whole bubble around their whole self. I mean, Walking inside of a bubble. Oh my god. These memes have been hysterical. And you know what I love about memes?
Mm.
We have these shows on TV, right? Like these Black Mirror shows and these other shows that show us, quote unquote, these very dark futures that if we don't get ourselves together on the trajectory we're going to have some dark technology future, AI future, right? And all I ever see whenever we have a big, huge, some crisis, and I lived in New York, and we had a lot of crises in New York. And of course, we had 911. All I have ever seen when there was a crisis was people pull together in a
Yeah.
way that we never did when there wasn't a crisis.
Yes.
And then the ability to laugh at ourselves
Mhm.
and the ability to use humor as a medicine. We're not laughing at it because we understand that there are some people who have released their form in this experience. That's between them and God. I don't have anything to do with that. I do know that humor heals.
Yes.
Laughter and joy and frivolity is of God, is a gift of God to heal us
Yes.
and to not take things seriously. So when I've been seeing some of these videos, they have just had me, I mean, doubled over laughing.
Yes.
And I love laughing anyway. It's good for the soul.
It's good for
Laughter
the
is good for the
soul.
soul,
It's good for the
right?
soul. It's good for the soul because I'm always reminded, okay, God is here, right? So God is here. So
God is right here. God is the coronavirus. So I don't know what we are thinking because God is everything.
God is
God is corona, God is everything. Yeah.
yes.
There is
Yes.
not a spot where God is not. There is not.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, what would you say to all of the incredible authors who are watching? So, this week we've been in Book Empire. Book Empire, I've been teaching a 5-day workshop. Today is day 5. Over the weekend, I have some goodies and some sessions that I'm going to be doing, some surprise sessions that I haven't announced yet. So, we're going to do some surprise sessions. And then we're going to invite folks into the new coaching program that I'm doing. It's a group coaching program, a year-long mastermind that I'm deeply, 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 deeply thrilled about because I've been wanting, Dr. Nanette, I've been wanting to get my paws into like a fresh, how you want to sink your teeth into like a fresh project and fresh meat, a
Yes.
fresh
Yes.
batch of clients coming in, fresh meat.
Yes.
You know how that
Yes.
is. I've been wanting to really coach people, in group format because I've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching lately, and I've been really wanting to. And I've done so many coaching programs over the year, over these 15 years that I'm very thankful for. And I love the group experience because it's shared learning. It's such a rich learning environment. So this is a group program. So what would you say to the authors who, excuse me, writing is so deeply personal because of the vulnerability, because of the emotional integrity required to write your soul, your heart and soul, even just write your own story? And for the ones who are now standing up and releasing visibility issues so they can be seen in the world, and the ones who are releasing lack limitation issues so that they can receive the beauty of abundance for what they're putting forth. So, what would you say to all of our beautiful souls that are watching?
Well, first of all, I'll say that they must be ready, right? Because that's
Mm.
just how the universe works, right? They would not even be in your forum, in your environment, in your aura if they weren't ready. So, yay, prize yourself first. Is yes, because that is a huge step in really standing in who you are to be able to document your story, right? Document
Mhm.
s- the message that spirit has to flow through you. So yay, prize yourself. And also the next part of it is, get ready. Don't make up what you think it's going to look like cuz you can't. Okay? You can't.
Mm.
And so, just
Mm.
like the Love Project, it's going to be a beautiful adventure. And I think when we open ourselves up to and tap into that childlike part of ourselves where, okay, I'm here, I'm excited, I know this is for me, right? I know this is for me. I've been talking about it for years. We can't say we don't have enough time anymore, right? not right now, right? We have lots of time, lots of me time to be able to focus on really sharing your story in a way that you haven't done it before. And, I said it before, I think Reverend Valerie is an excellent, Reverend Valerie, I don't often like to call you a coach because to me, that word has been used so much. Reverend Valerie is the bomb.com. And I'm not just saying this. I'm saying this because again, we attract who we are. So I'm now able to stand in that more fully. And I think all of our brothers and sisters are the bomb.com. So but for her, because she has the courage, to stand in her divine power, her uniqueness, her individuality, right? Because there's only one Reverend Valerie, there's only one Reverend Dr. Nanetta, and there's only one you. I think you do a very beautiful job in accentuating that because at least for me and many of my clients, what do? We try to hide those parts of ourselves that don't look like, that don't sound like a Reverend Valerie or Reverend Dr. Nanetta. So to be able to go in and open yourself up, right, for that whole beautiful process of someone showing you really how to go get it. And it's really how to go in and go get your authentic self, right? This is such a beautiful experience. And I think, being a part of a group experience, then you have that accountability. That's another part of it. So they should be excited for themselves, Reverend Valerie. It's beyond, I don't know how many times I can say it, it's beyond writing a book, right? It's beyond that. This is a soul's journey, right? And again, for those of you again that are getting nervous, right? Because Mama always says, if you don't have a little pee running down, then you ain't living big enough. So be
Hello,
excited.
that's what our mama says. If the PA running down your leg, it's not even worthy of you. That's
Right.
right. Don't even
So
bother with it.
so that's the first thing is number one, prize yourself. Number two, don't make up anything about what it's supposed to look like, and continue to just be open, coming to the experience with this again childlike curiosity of what spirit, what God, what the universe has for you. It's so much more than you could ever know, right? So I again, because of Reverend Valerie is who she is, and everybody knows, just the way she carries herself, that she goes up with spirit every day, all day, and she's listening. That's the type of coach that I wanted. Okay, then if you go support me and lead me, I need to know that you listening, right, to a higher power. So I think that's beautiful. I think the group process, the accountability, the people that can continue to support each other and going through this birthing process. So that means there's going to be a group of pregnant men and women. Yay!
That's
All
right.
right.
Men, women, and other, because now we have gender neutral people as
Yes.
well. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. And so you got to invite me back when all of these beautiful babies are birthed, okay? Sometime
Oh,
next year.
next year it's
Yes,
going to be an explosion. It's going to be
I
an
love it.
explosion. These are all going to be, another one of my clients said, these are all Corona books being written right
Oh,
now.
yes, yes,
Isn't that
yes.
amazing?
Yeah. And Reverend Valerie, I've been writing and creating more too because again, now
Ooh.
um because of all of that, you know, that first part, then now this process is so much more easy, right? Because again, a lot of that other stuff is out of the way. So of my stuff, of me blocking my process. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them. I'm
Um,
excited that they're willing to invest in themselves, because again, it's beyond a book. It's bigger than a book. The investment that they're making an investment in themselves, in the quality of life that they choose to that they choose to say yes to, and I'm talking about quality as it relates to finances, but also quality as it relates to the emotional and the mental abundance of what it looks like to really be out there in a way of
Ooh,
this is the message that I was given, right? And to be able to stand in it,
ooh.
that's priceless. That is priceless. I was not here.
Price.
I was not here, when we started our coaching. Okay, then I was not in this place to be able to stand where I am now. And so, but again, that's part of the work. I'm not going to tell them any specifics because they gotta figure that out themselves because each
Gotta
process is
experience it
different.
for
Yes.
themselves, right?
Yes.
We have to have the experience of it. We have to have that experience, right?
Yes.
So, Dr. Nanetta Payne, where can folks find you, reach you, work with you, read your book, all of it? All we
All
want
of it.
all the
All
Reverend
of
Dr.
it.
Nanetta Payne
All
deliciousness.
of it. All of
All
it.
of it.
I love it. The love doctor, Dr. Nanetta. So, guys, you can purchase the book on Amazon. You have lots of time. It's a workbook because again, all of what I do, what I teach, is really about working your own process. So, you can get it on Amazon. Again, the title of it is The Love Project: Master Your Life Through the Power of Love. Again, I'm a clinical psychologist and I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm also an ordained minister of spiritual consciousness. If you want to work with me, and really the work that I do, that I get to do, is really supporting people and moving through their journeys more gracefully, more lovingly. And I think if there was ever a time um, to really support the planet, um, in experiencing more love, then
Mhm.
it's now. So you
It's
can
now.
always find me on drnanettapayne.com. And hey, I'm not hard to find. I just want to thank you so, so, so very much, Reverend Valerie, for the work that you do in the world, for the sister that you are. Um, um, Again, beyond a coach, I'll
Mm,
say Reverend Valerie Love, divine midwife, amongst many other things. This is not just what Reverend Valerie does. This is who you be. You know,
mm,
seeing you at Mama's house and the love. You support many, many people on the planet, Reverend Valerie, but the humility and the brilliance, a person who does not take her gift lightly, who pours into
mm.
herself. And this is the last thing I would like to say is that,
You got me crying
yes,
now. You got the tears
yes,
rolling now.
yes.
I'm so thankful.
That's,
So thankful.
this is one of the last thing I would like to share with your audience, of, again, there are lots and lots of coaches and everybody, that's a personal decision, but I would also offer that, guys, when you are looking for a coach, I offer that you recognize that to really, really go for what you want, right? And and for me, I could hear it. I could hear it, and it's because I'm an auditory person, right? It's the sound.
Oh,
It was
mm-hmm.
I could hear that. And when you're getting a coach, you're getting every training they've ever been to,
Mm,
every Reverend Valerie has been trained by the Reverend Dr. Iyanla Van Zant and the entire team, because most people have not met the entire team. There are tons of people of
mm.
spiritual angels who nurture us. You getting all of that. Gina DeVee, all of these people who
Oh,
you invested in. I'm gonna say
my
that. You don't have
incredible coach.
who you
My,
invested in. And so a
mm,
coach, right, who commits to pouring into herself or himself, that's what you want. To me,
mm.
that's what I want. So I love you. You get me emotional now.
I know, I know. It just, when I reflect on the journey, Wow.
I
That's
reflect
all I
on
can
it
say
all. And
is
I
wow.
count it. I'll go back to my name. I count it all joy.
Oh,
It is a
Dr.
yes, a beautiful, humbling experience to know you. It just
Mm,
keeps getting better.
gooder
I'm
and gooder,
excited. It's gooder.
gooder and
I'm
gooder.
excited.
Our relationships, our family, our communities, gooder and gooder.
Gooder and gooder,
Mhm.
Reverend Valerie. I am humbled. I am so grateful that I got the opportunity to spend some time with your tribe, with your people, and above all, with you. Um,
Mm.
Again, keep doing your thing. I'm excited for your people. I know
I'm
it's going to
loving
be
our
a packed
people.
house.
Loving.
Yes.
I loving our people. And Dr. Nanetta, we're going to link up everything below this vid as well, your book
Okay.
and your website, so that the family and the tribe can follow you and see your deliciousness and absolutely get your services and books and just everything and the retreat. It sounds so delicious. Uh, I heard something today that really resonated with my soul. It said something about when this is all over, we're probably going to have a party. And I'm like, wow, we will
Wow.
probably have some kind of global celebration. Can you imagine a post?
I love it. I love
Isn't
it.
that beautiful? So maybe sometime this summer, there's going to be a global emergence. Like we've been speaking emergence, and we literally, physically, and literally will be emerging sometime this summer, new beings after this. Wow.
Yes. Wow.
So thank you, Dr. Nanetta. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being
Yeah.
an incredible light on the planet. Thank you for
Mhm.
your words, your encouragement, your support in how to look at things,
Yes.
and for reminding me of Much Afraid and Hinds Feet on High Places. I got to go pull that book out again. Oh
Yes.
my. I love you. Have a beautiful night. Love
I love
tubers.
you
We
too,
love
Reverend
you.
Valerie.
Have a beautiful evening. God bless. God
God bless.
bless. Oh my God. So good.